Hi, I'm Jodi Duncan AIFD. We've reached the time of year when we can reflect and renew. The holidays have passed. We've had an assault of fragrance, of color, a flurry of activities. And now's the time when we can relax and refresh and renew our purposes and where we're going in our businesses, with our clients, and in our design styles. Everything I've chosen today to work with is very neutral in color. We've had such a riot of glitter and glitz and red and all the wonderful things of the holiday. So this is the time of year when you can just breathe and just be cleansed and just figure out who you are and enjoy floral design. So we're gonna explore just a really simple, really clean, monochromatic design today. One of the things I love is lilies. And sometimes lilies don't always bloom when we want them to. They don't open as quickly as we want them to. We've all had those events when we need them to open, but you wind up with buckets and buckets of buds just like that. So it's one of those situations that when life hands you lemons, you make lemonade. That's what you do with lily buds too. I just couldn't stand all those lily buds staring me in the face. So one day I came up with a really fun technique where I just take the lily bud and just a little bit of the bind wire. Comes in different colors. I went with green because it's a color that signifies new growth. And I'm just going to take that bind wire and very gently wrap it around the bud, just going up and down, not too tight, but just enough to bind it shut. So now this is a decorative element instead of just a bud that wouldn't open. And as business people, as designers, sometimes we have to take things that aren't exactly what we wanted and make it into something fabulous. So this is one of my signature techniques that I use a lot. You can use Oasis wire. Bullion wire works fantastic for this. To add a little glitz or a little color, the Oasis wire works great. But that's just a little fun technique. So we're gonna tuck that in. I've already prepared my container with 2 blocks of Oasis, so that's all ready to go. Also want to use some Dusty Miller. It just reminds me of flannel. And after we've worked so hard in January, don't you just want to curl up under something soft and warm? Dusty Miller is very evocative of flannel to me. So I'm just kind of tucking that in there because I love the fragrance and I love the texture. Since we are in a month where we just came off of using amaryllis, I wanted to use them again because sometimes we think of it, we're starting to use it more and more in events, but it works great past Christmas. We are seeing it more and more in events. With the hollow stem, sometimes there's a danger of it collapsing a little prematurely, but with a hyacinth stake, you can put that just up inside it. It's not even very tight and it holds very well. I've got just a little bit of tulips as well. And I'm gonna pull off the foliage that I'm just not crazy about. Keep it clean. Tulips remind us, of course they're available all year now, but of course they're thought of as a springtime flower. So this just reminds us that while things are barren, sometimes in our souls, sometimes we're just going through a barren season of our life, tulips add hope. And tulips always reach toward the light. Tulips are very hopeful flowers. They are geotropic and phototropic, so that's kind of fun with the tulips. Geotropic meaning that they go toward the earth, and phototropic meaning that they lean toward the light. So tulips like to arrange themselves. Sometimes we just have to give them the liberty to do what they were created to do. We also have some silver foliage. Again, it's sort of like the Dusty Miller for me. It's just soft and cozy, and I wish I had a big quilt made out of it. I just want to curl up in it, especially this time of year. It's a good time to think about your business and renew your resolve for who your customer is and who your market is and who you are as a designer, as a business person. It's a good time to look at your marketing plan and set goals. Everybody does resolutions. Everybody looks at their financial statement for the last year. That's always kind of daunting, sometimes depressing, sometimes exciting. But as floral professionals, we know how to adapt and we know how to redirect ourselves. And with your branding and your personal goals, if that's not well developed, it's a good time to do that. Several years ago, personally, I hired someone to do my branding and my logo. And it was really expensive, but it was one of the best things that I ever did. So I encourage you to just bring definition to yourself and to your business, to your brand, so that if you don't know who you are, your customers aren't going to really know either. But hire a professional and let them work with you and what your niche is. Find that out if you don't know, and then develop something that fits you. I have a really fun logo that's actually my name is in my crazy, crazy hair. And when I send out, anything I send out from my business has my logo in it. This is actually a stamp that I had made. And so I use different colored ink, most of the time green, but you can see what it looks like on this box. And I just love it. I love to put it when I send out corsages and bouquets and boutonnieres. So be good to yourself and figure out your brand and make sure that everything that you work so hard to design, that people know it comes from you and they know it comes from your heart and that they can really connect with it. Also, another marketing tool that I have is my ribbon, which has my little head on it with my name in my hair, but it also says JodiDuncan.com. This is a great thing to use to tie on to anything that goes out. This particular bouquet would be great for a grand opening or for a spa. And if I send something from my shop, or I do things for a bridal show, and you want people to know you did it without being over the top and obnoxious about it, ribbon is a great way to do that. So you can just cut off just a little piece of it. This is also a great tip if you do bridal shows, and there's always people taking pictures of your work. This is just a way to make sure that your work is watermarked and that people know who made it. So if I was sending this out to a local spa or as a gift, I would just tie that to it. It's subtle, it's not over the top, but it still lets you know this is something that Jodi Duncan made. I'm going to add just a little bit of Brassica to finish this out in the middle. It's something that we start seeing in autumn and that we use through the holidays, but I don't know, it's kind of all year round pretty much now. And I just like it because it's the green and the white. It just seems healthy. We're all supposed to eat healthy and exercise, and when I see Brassica, it just feels very organic and makes me want to eat clean and all that kind of stuff. Also, I'm going to add some calla lilies, and I love calla lilies. We usually really admire the strength and the length of the stems, but sometimes it's fun just to mix things up a little bit. I'm going to cut those calla lilies off short. I know that's a travesty, but people say, oh, what is that? They don't even think about it as a calla because I'm showing it in a completely different way without the length of the stem. And that's what we want to do, is be known for our innovative ways to use everyday products. They would know it was a calla lily if they saw that big, long, glorious stem. But this just makes people take a second look and go, really? What is that? What is that about? But we don't totally want to forget about the stems because they're kind of pretty. I like them. So what I'm going to do is just cut them off and make a little cluster of those stems. And I'm going to tie it off with some lily grass, but they're all the same length and they're all just cut perfectly straight on the ends. So I have 5 pieces of calla lily stems cut in a really clean bundle, and I'm just going to grab a little bit of bind wire and wrap it around there a couple times to hold it tight and give it a twist. And then I want to cover that mechanic. I love variegated lily grass. It's one of my favorite things to use underwater hydroponically, or to just tie it up in knots, or I let it just drape gently over a vase. I don't know why I love variegated lily grass so much, but it's one of my very favorite things. And I just like how it ties that off. It looks really nice and neat and clean. So then I'm going to take a wood pick and I'm just going to wrap that around my bind it wire and my lily grass and wrap it just around the stick and then backwards so that's really super secure. I'm going to cut off all this bulk because I don't really need it. And then I'm going to insert that right down in the front. Just like so. So just using some stems that could have wound up in the trash, or those beautiful calla lily stems that you can't believe I cut off and used the callas so short like that. They make a great little accent. It's great decorative interest right there, just with stems and a simple little technique of tying it with lily grass, but it's beautiful. I'm gonna add a little bit more lily grass because I like repetition, and I'm gonna come back in behind these calla lilies and just tie it right over here, just to add some interest, because we all need to stay connected. It's really important in this industry that we can learn and that we can grow, that we can talk to each other about our challenges and help each other be good designers and good business people and have a really good year. So I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone who voted for me to be the design star this last year. I have enjoyed it. It has been a delight and a pleasure to meet all of you at all the various places. We traveled from here to How Are You? We were everywhere. I'm looking forward to helping our new design stars with Tony and Beth and Patience and what they're going to bring to us this year. I'm so excited for them to share their talents and their souls and their designs with you, and just to guide them on that journey. So stick with us. It's Mayesh, you never know what's gonna happen, but you can guarantee it'll be fresh and it'll be fun and it'll be fabulous. Thanks, it's been a great year.